Hi everyone, welcome. This is your school counselor, Mrs. Solorio. I am here today to talk to you guys a little bit about some strategies or different things that you guys can try in terms of becoming successful during remote learning. So let's get to it. Building a routine is so key during these times, whether we are live in school or we're distance learning, but creating and following a daily schedule is going to be one of the biggest keys to being successful. We do suggest you wake up before 9 a.m. every day. Make sure you still get up, get dressed, get into your clean clothes. Schedule some specific time for focusing on schoolwork. I know right now it's a little hard to balance being at home maybe with your siblings, maybe not having the space, but try to do your best to schedule a specific time to focus only on your schoolwork. Also, make sure you're scheduling time for brain breaks. It's very important that you're also taking care of yourself mentally, and those brain breaks are going to really help you just refuel to keep you guys going. We recommend and suggest that you continue to eat your 3 healthy meals along with your snacks in between throughout the day. And sleep is going to be such another big component. Make sure you go to sleep at a reasonable hour and try to aim for 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night. As you guys are creating your routine, your schedules, make sure you guys are writing it down and stick to it. I know at first it might be a little bit uncomfortable or just awkward trying to follow this routine, but self-discipline is going to be another big component during this time. Here's a sample of a daily schedule. Again, this is just a suggestion, but we suggest again you wake up before 9 a.m. every day, have your breakfast, get dressed, get ready for the day, practice your personal hygiene things, brush your teeth, wash your hands, etc. And then maybe from 9 to 10, you can do some outdoor time. Maybe take a walk with your family, skateboard, maybe ride a bike, or do inside yoga. Do something to get that sunlight, get the vitamin D. Also, research shows that when we are exposed to sunlight, we are getting that natural vitamin D, and that helps reduce some anxiety, some stress. So try to get some time outdoor if you can. And then block off your time maybe from 10 to 11:30 for specifically academic time. Log on to your Google Classroom, complete some of your schoolwork, make sure you're checking your emails daily, and also block out some time for some creativity. This could be from 11:30 to 12:30 where you're painting, you're drawing, maybe listening to music, baking, cooking, and of course block off your time for your lunch. Have this with your family or while calling a friend, maybe while reading a book, but make sure you're being mindful of your self-care as well and taking your time to eat. Perhaps from 1 to 2, you can also help around the house, do some chores, clean your room, do the dishes, anything to be helpful. 2 to 3, again, self-care is another thing you want to focus on during these times. So that might look like journaling, reading, texting, or calling your friends, maybe playing a board game at home with your family, maybe loteria, Jenga, whatever it is that you guys can do to spend some family time as well. Perhaps from 3 to 4:30, you can continue with some more academic time, logging onto your Google Classroom, completing some schoolwork, trying to just, again, this is a suggestion, a list of different activities you can do, but I'm going to have you guys go ahead and look through it. We went over most of it, but again, we just want to make sure you create a routine that's going to work for you. We're going to move on to creating a dedicated school space. So I know it may be a little complex, a little chaotic at home right now, especially if we're taking care of our siblings, or again, maybe we don't have the space at home, but do your very best to find a space in your house to designate as your school space. This should be an area with minimal distractions. It should have good lighting and a flat work surface if possible. So that might be a desk, a kitchen table. Also, guys, avoid doing schoolwork in bed if possible. Your bed should ideally be reserved for sleeping only. And overall, this should help, hopefully, if you have that dedicated or designated area to do your schoolwork. Also, stay updated. Daily, you guys should be checking your email, so make sure you're every time when you wake up in the morning, when you're getting your day started, check your email for instructions from teachers, check your Google Classrooms, check your teachers' websites or whatever platform they're using to communicate with you. And on a weekly basis, you should be checking your Aries to see if you have any missing assignments that you can still make up, and just continuous communication and participation with your teachers so that you guys are all up to date with all the information you guys need to have. Organization is also going to be key during these times, so stay organized, keep track of your assignments, use your agenda or planner if you have one. If you don't, create a Google Calendar, create a weekly to-do list. Also, clean up your workspace at the end of the day every day so that you start fresh the next morning. You want to organize perhaps your Google Drives with folders for each class, so perhaps set up a folder for math, social studies, science, ELA, whatever class you have. Stay organized. We also want to make sure we're using proper etiquette for video conferencing. So make sure you set up your Chromebook in a quiet space and be mindful of the background setting. Make sure you don't have an unmade bed or dirty clothes or distracting movements happening behind you. If you can, avoid it. Turn your microphone off if you are not actively speaking. Avoid participation and side chatter or on or off screen. Dress appropriately, no PJs please. I know it's we're learning from home. We're doing this virtual distance learning right now, but if you can, wear something casual. Dress as if you were going to school, but do try to avoid PJs if you can. Also, use appropriate language. I know we have a lot of chat rooms kind of happening on the side, so continue to utilize complete sentences. I know sometimes we want to just use like TY for thank you or TTYL, talk to you later, but stay away from slang. You want to continue to use appropriate language when video conferencing or sending an email and whatnot. Be on time, log on time, don't be late. Time is of essence, so try to get there on time if possible, and last but not least, be respectful. You guys continue to utilize and show your Diamondback character. We want to see that continuously, whether we're in the classroom setting or in a virtual setting. That shouldn't change. We also want you to build your study skills. So continue to read over your notes. Utilize any study materials your teachers provide for you. Maybe even make yourself a study guide or flashcards. Ask your parents, siblings to quiz you or call up a friend. You can also use Kahoot or other teacher suggestions or resources to help create these practice tests. This is going to be very beneficial for you to guys retain and absorb that information. Ensure you're reaching out for help. If you have questions, email your teachers. Use Google Classroom as a platform to communicate. Make sure you're aware what the office hours are. Know how to access your school counselors for support. Ask for help if you need it. Your teachers and counselor are here to help you. And guys, let's also continue to use proper email etiquette. So use short, simple subject lines. Include greetings, dear, hello, good morning, good afternoon. Address your teachers appropriately using last names. So Mr. Smith, Mrs. Solorio, Mrs. Llamas, Miss Pereira. Be polite, be respectful, be specific, and end with your name. So here I have an example. So the subject might be math question. Hello, Mr. Teacher. So in this case, we'll say, hello, Mr. Guzman. I was confused by today's lesson on adding fractions. Is there any review or practice I can do to help me learn? Thank you for your help. From Steve Joe. And this is, again, an example of how you can send an email to one of your teachers. Also, know and use your resources, whether it's Kahoot, ClassDojo, actually have Kahoot on here twice, BrainPop. Check with your teachers, ask them. They often post recommended resources for further learning and practice. So again, just ask questions, know what your resources are. Also, guys, a very big one, stay connected. It's important for your mental health to just stay connected with your friends and family during these uncertain times. You know, set up phone calls or video calls with your loved ones, with your friends, with your grandparents or tios. Keep in touch via text. Continue to send emails or make phone calls to older or less tech savvy family members, like again, your grandparents. Send a kind email to make someone stay. Just very important for your mental health, to stay connected, to talk to someone. So that was another important one we wanted to add on here. So use social media appropriately, guys. I cannot reiterate and highlight how big this one is. Remember that everything you post, like, share is on the internet forever. Even if you try to delete it, it's still going to be on there in cyberspace. There's just no way to really get rid of it. So use social media in good ways to stay connected with friends if used appropriately. Stay off social media during school times as well to just avoid distractions. Do not post negative or hurtful things about others. And again, consider before posting, is this something I would be proud of, my parents would be proud of, or teacher, perhaps your future boss or future college to see this. Again, sometimes we think because we're in 6th, 7th grade, oh, it doesn't matter, we're 5 years from becoming a senior. Well, guess what, guys? Say I'm going to give you, just throw out an example there. Maybe your goal is to become a student athlete at Fresno State. Say you wanted to play football. Oftentimes the coaches or recruiters can go back and just Google your name to maybe reference character and get to know who you are in a different light. So oftentimes social media is that way they can access some of that information. So just be mindful of these things, guys. Make sure you guys are being responsible when you guys are on social media or utilizing your technology. Also, practice self-care. Some of you guys may be wondering, what is self-care, Mrs. Solorio? Well, self-care are the things that we do to take care of our mental and physical selves, especially in times of high stress or emotion. Right now, this whole situation, this pandemic with COVID-19 might be having a lot of us stress. So again, making sure that we're engaging in things that are going to help us relieve some of that stress. So for some of us, it might be a coloring book, taking a walk, while also, of course, making sure we're maintaining at least 6 feet distance from others. It might be reading a book, listening to music, watching a movie, journaling, connecting with a family or friend, exercising, meditating, whatever works for you. Those are the things that you should really be intentionally trying to engage in. And again, sometimes we don't know what those things are unless we give it a chance. So I invite you to challenge yourselves over this period of time to discover what are those things that are helpful for you. And here on this next slide, we just have 50 ways to take a break. So if you need more ideas for how to take those brain breaks, here they are. Listen to music, maybe take a nap, write a letter, sit in nature, maybe in your backyard. Just some ideas here. But I do want to say just thank you to everyone for tuning in today. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will be here for Q&A, and if you think of any other questions later, you can always email me at psolorio@rsusd.org. And we're going to just finalize with a post-test. So we'll get that maybe Google form via email to you in just a few moments. Thank you guys again. I tremendously appreciate your time, and I hope you found some of these strategies and some of these key points helpful. And again, stay safe, stay healthy, stay calm. We're here for you. Thank you.